Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, I've just been in the pub, getting in the shade from the sweltering hot sunshine which is out there right now, which is glorious, terrific, and we've got yet more weeks of it ahead of us. Summer has started early in the UK, and it's hit there with a blitzkrieg of heat and sun and big blue skies with very curious chemtrails crisscrossing the skies. Anyway, put on your tinfoil hat and your sun cream. Folks, I thought, not done a video for a couple of days, so what can I do? So I sat there, pondering, pontificating with whiskies. Always helps, you know, always helps. And for some reason I thought about houses, and houses differ. Trust me, my mind doth wander. And I thought American houses, they're bloody huge, aren't they? Even American apartments, oh bloody huge and labyrinthine. Great big rooms and corridors and like, wow. And I thought, well hang on, I live in a mansion. Our house, this house right here, is big. It's big. It goes up and up and up. And it goes back and back and back. And there's tons of staircases and different rooms and little offshoots and things. And yet from the outside it doesn't seem to be that big at all. But British homes are very deceptive. Now, I've been to a lot of American houses. Hello, here's the cat. Hello, young lady. Don't jump up, you're going to knock things over. Don't jump up. Oh. She's prowling around. Things may happen in the background which are beyond my control. But I've been to a lot of houses in America. And some, you know, single story and some 2-story. Never anything more than that, to be honest. And especially around San Diego, a place I've spent a lot of time in, residential areas, if they're like just 1 story, they just go back and back and huge rooms. The first thing you step into is a huge open plan living room. The kitchen is over there. It's what I always took to be American sitcom style, where the camera would be there, it's recorded in front of a live audience. We'd be sitting where we are looking at the action on screen, and the camera would just prowl from like kitchen area to the back door. There's a staircase leading up to the bedroom, which is another set, and there's, you know, the main living room, and like the camera would just move across, and half the show would be just simple camera movements. And then I thought, like, well, that's just a TV set. And then I encountered American houses, and like, oh my god, they're like that. But certain places I've been to, and I've gone like, this, god, your living room is amazing. The front door would open into a big palatial living room, and you can see the back door being miles and miles away there, in that direction. And they go, no, this is just the front room. We've got another room, and you just go further back. Huge, ramshackle places, very homely, very comfy, but also very cluttered, and also like this is, I like little rooms as well, big rooms and little rooms, little off the corridor, cubby holes. American houses don't seem to have that, and of course you've got your you know, your big apartments, which seems to be built on the same ethos. Just make it big, palatial. Everything is in one room. And you think, wow, that the entire house is wrapped up in all of this huge space here. And they go, no. We've actually got another corridor which leads to another couple of rooms. And you're like, how big is this building? How could it possibly fit in there? So, whereas in Britain, our houses are, they can be big, they can go back and back and back and up and up and up and be dead deceptive. But they look like theirs, you can see from the outside, it's got to be, well, it's 2-3 floors there, you can work it all out. But American houses, it's just on one level. There can't be much to that. You can see the grounds around it, your yard, you can see all of that. But once you're in it, it just seems to stretch even further by some Lovecraftian geometry. So I thought, the houses we see in our favourite movies, let's see how they work out. So I sat there whilst fending off questions about, where's your dog? I'm still getting these questions, folks, all the time. And it's always a bit of a whammy, bit of a wallop to me. I'm sitting there happily, just, you know, my whiskies, my own thoughts, music in my ears. Where's your dog? I have to then tell them about what happened to Roxy the Wonder Dog and how Christmas will never exist for us again. And it kind of derails you a little bit. But hey, I got back on track and I wrote all my little notes on my phone, on your little keep it notes on your little app. And I copied them and I sent them to myself here. So now I'm going to go through it. Now I've picked out 12 movie houses, and some of them are not just one house, they're in an area. And you'll see why, because the houses will be pretty much the same across the board. But some are individual, you know, premises. So let's dive into them. And these are basically, it's stream of consciousness thoughts and little notes. So, first and foremost, Haddonfield from Halloween. Nice plots of land, but relatively small houses. They are relatively small. Tight landings and stairways and halls and corridors. Claustrophobic and with bedrooms that are eerily easy to perv into from a neighbour's gardens. Think of Jamie Lee, Laurie Strode, and there's Michael Myers in the washing lines from the neighbour's garden, and she looks at the window and he's there and then he's gone. You know, they seem to be like, you know, idyllic American, you know, sort of suburbia, you know, tree-lined streets and all that, lots of grassy verges. Oh, it looks lovely, of course it does. Oodles of rich dark shadows though, so perfect for hide and seek. Nice balconies so they're great for target practice. Boom, 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 boom. And clearly very soft lawns. When a body lands on it, it's crunched up there. And when you go outside, body's gone. Because it didn't break anyone's back. Michael Myers is supernatural, I tell you. Don't listen to anyone from Blumhouse or Bumhouse that says, no, he's a man, but there's something else. There's something other about him. He's fucking supernatural. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. He's not human. You know, of course he's a fucking human. We all know this. He's the bogeyman. Or the boogeyman, obviously. But yeah, those Haddonfield homes are, they are nice and cozy from the outside. It does present an idyllic image of suburbia, which of course is what John Carpenter wanted to exploit. Because even in, you know, the safety and sanctuary of your own houses, the boogeyman can get in there, in the shadows, inveigle himself in, and butcher you all, like it's the festival of Samhain, and the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children, you know. But it is a lovely homestead. The homes look great. It feels cozy. It feels inviting. It feels lived in. But, you know, those shadows hide a lot. And they are tight stairways. They're not big palatial houses, as we'll discover in a lot of other premises that we're going to visit now. So next, we go to Poltergeist. What is it? Cuesta Verde, built on an old burial ground. You moved the tombstones, but you left the bodies, didn't you? You moved the tombstones, but you left the bodies, didn't you? Because the houses are built over this fucking graveyard. Anyway, vast parlour, big kitchen, nice sized pool, but needs a lot of attention. They've got workers there, including Sonny Landham, the late great Sonny Landham, Billy from Predator. But pool needs a lot of attention. This is what I wrote. Preferably from non-pedo workmen, because they've got the young daughter, Danielle, the young, not the youngest daughter, but the next daughter up, who's only a young teen herself. And you've got Sonny Landham and all these other big sweaty workies with their muscles out, like giving her loads, wolf whistling and, you know, howling at her. And she's doing like that. Naughty though, it's naughty. Spatial bedrooms, I think I meant sort of very spatial, as in not like cerebral, but big bedrooms. And they are. Mum and dad are smoking spliffs and all that, like, and the bedrooms are quite large for the kids. Caroline, you know, if it, what's the lad's name? I forgot his name now. Robbie, it's Robbie, isn't it? But plenty of spaces for his killer clown to hide in. It's a big room, it's a big house. They've got a great big massive staircase, which you only really see when all the spectral spirits come floating down in their ethereal en masse majesty. Look at them all these lost spirits, you know. And it's beautiful, and it's a big staircase. You've also got, what did I say, right? An ever-stretching upper landing, of course, when Jo Beth Williams, as the mum, you know, my babies, begins to run down the corridor, and it just stretches like that, and she flings open the bedroom door, and then the great big sort of pterodactyl, spectral, haunted, supernatural beastie goes, and she's like, and her hair goes grey on one side. It's a lovely house. What a nice, unpleasant bathroom mirror and dodgy TV signal. Yeah, they're here. It's better on this channel. It's just pure static, but that's when you can communicate with Caroline. Tree on the property might need some attention. Yeah, too right it does. Any kind of storms brewing, it becomes a demonic edifice, and it can reach through the frigging window and grab people out of their bedrooms, built over a burial ground. It does look lovely. In the UK, we watch these movies. The Spielbergian ideal of suburbia is genuinely idyllic to us, because you've got the sun. It's great. I mean, we've got the sun right now, I'll be honest. Yeah, it's great. And our suburban sprawls can be equally as gorgeous on little hilly mounds and closes and, you know, drives and little lanes. But it's also very busy in a lot of, you know, suburban areas. Tons and tons of traffic sweeping up and down all the time. It's not quite as peaceful as a picture postcard image of our environs might lead you to believe. There are plenty of places which are great in the countryside. You know, it's wonderful. Of course, it's great. But we're always drawn to the American suburbia. Always seems great. And that's why it's ideal for horror movies to move in there and put in Freddy Krueger's and Michael Myers and whatever other butcher might happen to move into the area and start slicing and dicing all the neighborhood. Because it's subverting what looks beautiful, and, you know, I want to move there. Oh, it looks peaceful and quiet, and what great neighbors. And no, it ain't like that at all. This will be a quick video, I'll be honest, because I want to get back out again. The sun is shining, and Kilty likes to be out with alcohol in the sunshine. The Amityville Horror, the original Amityville Horror, with James Brolin and Margot Kidder, and that pig with the little glowing eyes, Jody the kid. Jody the pig, not the kid. They're going to Billy the kid there. Right, of course, we're not going to go into the whole history and all the bullshittery around the Lutz family and all that, what really happened. And of course, the previous residents always look into why people have moved out of the house. Well, they didn't move out. They were murdered. They were shotgunned to death, you know. So why would you want to move in there? Well, it's nice and cheap, obviously. A beautiful Dutch colonial residence, but with its architecture resembles a demonic face. You put the lights on in the attic windows and you've got these glowing demonic satanic eyes. And as I said, Dutch colonial with a built-in demonic face and a very dubious history. Previous owners didn't have much fun there, so always check into the history of the house you intend to buy. It's full of flies and dodgy sash windows. The flies assail the priest, flies everywhere. Ooh, God, horrible. And the sash window comes down the kid's hands. Ah, God, gotta be careful of that. It's got a bad phone line. The priest, Rod Steiger, overacting and chewing the scenery and chewing a lot of ham at the same time. He tries to get in touch with the Lutzes all the time, like, but every time he's done, you've got to get out the house, get out the house, it's evil, get out the house. And all they hear on the other line is like static, dodgy phone line. Internet would be crap there as well, guarantee it. It's got a creepy hidden red room and a basement full of sludge and slime. And when everything really goes tits up for the final night, gonna go and rescue the dog, of course you have. The basement is just becomes like a tsunami of shit. Again, built over the burial ground. But it's a nice place. The house is nice. It has a very cold feel to it. The way it's directed, the way it's filmed, it looks, again, it's 70s. You can imagine that, you know, your Haddonfield homesteads look a bit nicer than this place. You know, it's a more desirable residence. You know, it's out onto the water, and you've got a boathouse there as well. Of course, you wake up at like, 3:15 in the morning every morning, because that's when the murders took place. I probably got the time wrong. Regular viewers know that I wake up for years and years and years, because the Kilt-Mansion is haunted. I'm not going to go into all of that right now, because there's a whole history of stuff here, which I have talked about. But for many years, I would wake up at 3:34. I call it the magic hour. 3:34 in the morning, I'd wake up, because stuff would be happening. And even when stuff wasn't happening at all, I'd still wake up at that time, for whatever reason. Now, our two dogs that we had in this house, Pepper, the great big prehistoric German Shepherd, didn't really care about the supernatural in this house. Dogs and cats are meant to pick up on these things, obviously, but Pepper did notice things, did look at things, but she wasn't agitated too much. Roxy, the wonder dog, the husky, who sadly departed only, well, Christmas last year, didn't give a shit. Things were going on, and you'd step over it whilst phenomena were taking place in the wee small hours, 3:34, and she wouldn't be arsed in the least. Wouldn't help you. Didn't care. Didn't see it. Now we've got the cat, Wednesday, the cat. And since she arrived, well, you're up all night because she's causing chaos throughout the night anyway. But there's no 3:34 supernatural wake-up calls and spooky activity. There's been nothing since the cat arrived. I can't explain it. I don't know. I will look more into this, and I'll deliver a proper video about her arrival and how things have changed. But anyway. So our house is haunted, and we had this thing about the 3:34 sort of wake-up call. So I get that. But of course, we know the Lutzes lied. It's been proven. All their hauntings, or at least most of it, has been massively debunked. But it made for a great movie. A bit of a turkey. It's a toiki. Because it is a bit OTT. But it's a great entry into the haunted house sort of movie genre. And the Amityville Horror is highly regarded by many as a film. So, yeah. The Brody abode. Jaws! Yeah, Jaws. They've got a great house. The Brodies. You know, Martin and Ellen and the kids, Sean and Michael. It's a seafront property, but it's not on the beach. It's not a beach house. It's a seafront property. It overlooks the sea. And they've got a little pier there. And of course, you know, how does Mikey like his present, his birthday present? He loves it. He's sitting in it right now. And of course, there's a shark out there. Our shark. And you know, get out of that boat! Just sit in the boat, Dad. Just sit in the boat. You know, I don't want him on the water. He's not in the water. He's on a boat. And then Ellen's looking at all of Martin Brody's new shark books, and she sees the shark going. Hang on, we've got the picture. She sees the shark piercing through the hull of the boat, and they're in a boat not much. Well, it's smaller than that. A little training yacht sort of thing. Just get out of that boat! Get out of that water now! You know. You hit your father? And he's like, do you want to get drunk and fool around? Of course you do. It's a house that you can get drunk in and fool around in. What did I write about it? A seafront property, not the beach. Messy but homely. Cluttered but welcoming. Dodgy swing. The kids swing out the front. It's not good. We're going to get that swing looked at. Because Michael comes in and he's cut his hand. I got hit by a vampire, he says. He's got all blood coming down his hand like he's been playing with our cat. Dodgy swing. Low hanging light fixtures. Because Martin Brody always keeps banging his head on like light fixtures. So it's kind of cramped and it's cluttered as well, but it looks lived in, it looks warm and cozy. It's a genuine family house and I like it, you know. They're in the yard, not too far from the car. How's that sound? Like you're from New York. Perfect to get drunk and fool around in. It is a lovely, lovely house. It's not your haunted house. As Jaws 2 progresses and then fucking Jaws 3. Jaws 4 brings back Ellen Brody. And there's the publicity shot, of course, of Roy Scheider as Martin Brody, police chief of Amity. And it's a proper like publicity shot. Not what you'd have hanging on your wall. He's died of a heart attack. Absolute travesty. Nightmare. Terrible, terrible, terrible finale to that family's odyssey with sharks. But that house is great. It's a real dwelling. It looks lived in. Needs a bit of upkeep. Needs a bit of hard work. You know, because in Amity, one man can make a difference. Unless there's sharks around, Martin Brody's not doing a great deal, apart from the kids who are karateing the picket fences, you know. And she's dancing around in a towel. But he's got a dependable deputy, Hendricks. Right. That's the Brody abode. I put down The Last Starfighter, and I'm thinking now, why did I do that? The Last Starfighter, directed by Nick Castle, who played Michael Myers, The Shape in Halloween, the first movie. It's a trailer park. And like, who wants to live in a trailer park? Well, the reality is in America, many people do. And these trailers are fucking huge. And they've got plots of land with picket fences. And they've got gardens and trees. They look amazing, depending on where. Obviously, if you're outside of a Whistler Mountain in Vancouver, it won't be quite as idyllic. But, you know, you've got the weather. You're in California, you know, in Idaho, Wyoming, you know, Kentucky. It's going to be lovely, you know. Trailer park, gorgeous weather. Nicely stepped design. So you've got, it's built on the sides of, you know, a valley. So it's stepped. You don't overlook, or people that overlook you. You've got your own land that comes out like that. And then chiseled into the side of the valley. You've got the other homestead above you. But you don't feel overlooked because they're not overlooking you. I know what I mean. So even at the base of the valley, you've still got lovely views. And there's no, you don't feel, you know, that you're being spied on by the people above you. It's built on steps like that, and it looks great. And the actual trailer itself seems rather large, spatial bedrooms, and you've got a porch where you can do stargazing. You've got tremendous entertainment systems there, albeit 80s archaic video games. But, you know, that particular video game can take you to the stars and beyond. What else did I write? Stargazing porches, fabulously retro entertainment, actually quite spacious trailers. They are. I wouldn't want to live in a trailer park unless it was that one, because that one looks cool. It looks great. Great neighbours too. Gonna be a sparkling day. Sparkling. You know, I could live there. There'd have to be a bar somewhere within easy walking distance. In America, bars are not like that. In this place, where they're going to go and get a beer, well, obviously you can buy a few cans or bottles of beer, but where are you going to go for a proper bevy? In the UK, we have pubs in every corner. Around here, well, you know, there's dozens and dozens of pubs around here. I've never been in the UK, any place in the UK where there hasn't been dozens and dozens of pubs on your doorstep. But in America, it ain't like that. Okay, in the cities you may have, if you're in Boston, you're in New York, you've got bars and stuff, yeah. But in most places, you've got to travel to get out to a boozer. So you've got to have someone who's going to drive, or you're going to get a cab, you know, but it's not the same. So that's the one thing which was always stuck in my mind. I've been in America a couple of times, and I know where the bars are. I know the places where it's great. San Diego is great for pubs, proper pubs as well. I love San Diego. I keep banging on about San Diego. It's my favourite place in America because of my experiences there, but loved it. LA itself, no, not going back to LA. Unless, you know, someone is going to buy me a big palatial Hollywood mansion. In this case, I'd consider it. And I'll do your script doctoring, or I'll even appear in your movie if I've got to. Right. Oh, real change now. 7. Yeah, 7. John Doe, Kevin Spacey, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman. Yes, John Doe's apartment. Huge, labyrinthine, dusty and museum-like. Ample space for notes and journals. Very cheap on lighting and energy bills. Nice area to slice off your own fingertips to remove your fingerprints. Nice. It's huge. It's an apartment. But once they break in there, once Brad Pitt kicks the fucking door in, you know, and they've got the flashlights out and all that, you're going into like a huge corridor, room, scribblings and jottings and journals, pages stuck on the walls and all that, jars of stuff like. I mean, you've got the other guy as well. You've got a sloth. That's a bloody big apartment as well, and you've got all bits and bobs of him hanging up there in jars. It's like Brundlefly's, the Brundlefly Natural History Museum from The Fly. Jeff Goldblum's bits falling off, putting in jars. And you've got that in Sloth's apartment too, which is equally as huge. A lot of air fresheners though. Kind of stinky place. But the actual apartment for John Doe is equally huge and mysterious and dark and sorry. But that's what I'm saying about these apartments. They just, you know, put your key in the door and you think, well, there's people in that door there. So you've got loads of neighbours, and it's a long corridor in an apartment complex. Open the door, it just recedes back with huge rooms, reception rooms, parlour rooms, big massive kitchens, other rooms, and lots of dingy corridors. It's almost like a castle just on one level, a collapsed, crushed castle. Great. Oh, this will probably get worse now. I was in a pub before and there were people sneezing and coughing all the way around. People asked about the dog actually. We're all coughing and sneezing. So I thought, oh God, here we go. Because it just goes around and around and around, doesn't it? But that's a great apartment. And it's a really bad sort of place to be because it's basically the mind of John Doe, isn't it? It's all the different sort of horrendous obsessions that he's got. You know, the 7 deadly sins, and his inner rage, and he's doing the work, you know, and all this. But you can see that's how his dwelling has been structured, like his mindset. Madness and complete driven focus as well. So each room has its own identity and purpose for him. And on the similar line, the Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill's place. Equally huge and labyrinthine, pure TARDIS, Doctor Who's TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And his place seems to be like, I can't quite remember, the way I sat there in the pub before, it was like a single story dwelling, you know, a great big sort of rural, sort of not farmhouse, but like a built like a ranch house sort of thing. But it's big, it's vast, it's got different bits to it, and it just goes around, and it's right angles and other little parts to it. But once you get in there, Big rooms and lots of corridors. An indoor vivarium. He's got all his moths, hasn't he, and all that. Incredible. And it's not just like, oh, he's got a vivarium in a big glass case. He's got an entire fucking room, which is huge, full of insecty, buzzy things going around. Incredible use of basement well without planning permission. I don't know about America, but you know, you want to build stuff on your land in this country, you've got to get planning permission to do so. Unless you absolutely outright own the land and you've got like quite a large plot of land, acres, you can put structures on that. But you've still got to get permission to do it, if I remember rightly. Digging down. In this country, that's a bit of a hedgy one because, to my knowledge, my dad, Big Kilt Papa, always told me, we can dig down, son, we can dig down. We never did dig down, but I'm not even sure what he wanted to dig down to, but a big survival. We built our own bunker, though, with my dad. But we never did it because you can dig down. You can't stop me doing that. I think they can't stop you doing it because they don't fucking know you're doing it. So you can't see it. But I still think there's got to be a legal limit as to what you can do. I don't know. I'm not the expert on this. But Buffalo Bill dug a well. And he puts his flabby victims there, his flabby ladies, so he can thin them down, so it's easier to skin them and make his little woman suit. It's a fucking crazy story, isn't it? But reality is far worse than what is depicted in that movie. So he's got, what is it now? Indoor vivarium, incredible use of basement well without planning permission. Lighting's not so good, necessitating NVGs. Once he flips the lights out, but he's got them on like very warm because it's all the bugs and all that. Very warm, but dog friendly, precious, you know. Or else it gets the hose again. And a terrific environment for stitching, sewing, and self-discovery. And dancing. Alone. But it's a big place. Again, someone might correct me. I don't think it's a two-story. I think it's a single-story place. I think. Because you just seem to go around on a single level and then you descend into the basement and the well and all that. So, Elm Street. Do you know, I'm going to have to get a drink. Just talk amongst yourselves. It's just water. And you what? I'll probably start coughing even worse now. And it's just water. Cheers, y'all. We're going to move to another bit of suburbia, stricken by an iconic bogeyman. So not Michael Myers, not Haddonfield. Elm Street. Elm Street, there you go, Elm Street. Now look at these houses. They're quite small and very compact. The stairs are a bit squishy. You can lose your feet in them. Beds are incredibly deep and dangerous. Baths and mirrors are equally untrustworthy and treacherous. Walls are surprisingly flexible. And the furnace in the basement needs some maintenance. The Elm Street houses are, again, genuinely lived in. They look real. Now from the outside, they've got a plot of land, they've got gardens in the front, gardens in the rear. And when you put the bars on the windows, you know, he's just looking after their daughter and all that, like, just believes in himself. Oh, fuck it, I forgot the quote. Her mum's put all bars on the windows. And the house looks really big then, but when you're inside, it's a small living room, it's a small kitchen, the bedrooms are small, you open the front door, there's the stairs going straight up, you know, in here. And a lot of, well, certainly the houses I've lived in, you open your front door, you've got a vestibule, you go for another door. Of course, we've got a drawbridge and a portcullis, but that's beside the point. Once you're on the premises, you get in there, got a long corridor, and then you get the stairs, which go up and up and up. That's what stairs do. And depending on your perspective, they could go down and down and down. You turn a corner, and more stairs, then more landings, then more stairs, then more landings, and they go off in different directions. So you have landing and a landing that way. So the house goes bigger and bigger, and exponentially just enlarges. But the Elm Street houses, especially like Nancy's house, it's fucking tiny. Open the front door, there's the stairs, right there, right there. You know, as she runs and escapes, and a tiny little corridor to get to her bedroom. Just a dream, it isn't real. Just a dream, it isn't real. It isn't real. And he comes flying through the other side of the bedroom door with a mirror on her side. He goes, one of the greatest jump scares I've ever experienced in my life. Oh, I do apologise. Because I talk so much, the throat just goes, you've had enough. Come on, give them a break. Yeah, you've got a furnace in the basement. Ooh, way dodgy that one, isn't it? Way dodgy. The bath, you know, she's lying there, their knees like that, and the claws come up. I know it's all, again, Lovecraftian, supernatural geometry. The limbo has broken, you know, into our realm, and he's there, you can control it, you know, it's still brilliant. They were big, messy, long yards as well. Tina's place, Johnny Depp's place, they're all similar structures, similar size and shape. It's a genuinely believable neighbourhood. Elm Street, you believe those houses because those houses are in real, aren't they? Well, apart from obviously when you've got a set on a gimbal when poor Tina's getting dragged around all the walls and all that. But the houses themselves are genuine, and the layout is exactly as they would be, and they're small and pokey, but they feel lived in, and it adds a real quality to the film. It doesn't feel like a film set. It doesn't feel like this has just been, you know, created for the sake of this set piece. It feels like you're in a genuine place, and that works. The Evil Dead. It's a cabin in the woods. You want to talk about TARDIS? Time and relative dimensions in space. Doctor Who. TARDIS bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, because it's just mind-blowing quantum physics. The Evil Dead. Cabin is like the TARDIS. Got miles of corridors, rooms that suddenly appear much bigger than first anticipated, and the most immense cellar this side of Beelzebub's basement. Shelves and cupboards are much heavier than they look. Look at the first movie, where Ash, Bruce Campbell, forever gets battered in the face by a deadite, ends up hitting a bunch of really flimsy shelves, which will then cascade and land on him, and he's like, oh, he can't get up, as other deadites are advancing on him, and he's stuck underneath these things, but he just got like, it's matchsticks. What else was it? Shelves and cupboards are much heavier than they look. Everything inside, including the lamps, chairs, books, and stuffed animal heads, have a wicked sense of humour. Everything laughs at him in Evil Dead 2. The cellar is immense, you know, in the fruit cellar and all that. But even in the first movie, there's a lot of voyaging around there, prowling around there. It goes deep. It's like the well in someone called it Silence of the Lambs. Who had planning permission in the deep in the Tennessee woods to go and like build this labyrinthine maze of corridors underneath your ramshackle cabin in the woods? But it's you see it from the outside, not in there. Another couple of buildings to it, obviously work shed. Obviously you've got all that, but it doesn't look that big. It looks like the house in the Amityville Horror. It's low, but it's got those big windows, and it's almost got a face. So when the lights are on, it's the full moon and it's nighttime, and the lights are glowing. It is a demonic face that's sitting there, squat in the middle of these woods. But it's huge. The rooms are all big, and yet there's more. When he gets chased in Evil Dead 2, you know, he's running around little tight corridors like that. He's in between the walls, and the beast from out in the woods is like chasing him through all that. But he's still got plenty of time to dart from room to room to room to room to room to room, and then get in underneath the trapdoor to the cellar. It's a huge place. Fuck this cough. If I get another cough again, I'll go absolutely ape. House. Horror comedy. with William Catt and George Wendt playing his neighbour. He ex-Vietnam and Vietnam veteran, writing his memoirs. He's inherited his grandma's house. It's a lovely palatial colonial, formal but not very welcoming. If you look at it, it's beautiful to look at. It's all polished wood, gleaming polished floorboards, rugs, and lots of like antiques and what have you on the walls. Beautiful big staircase and all that. Big bedrooms are big. Landing is huge. You know, you've got all. It's wonderful size structure. It seems it's got a swimming pool as well. But dodgy. Swimming pool leads to another dimension. It leads to the history in the past, and you know, which comes back to haunt him, obviously. But even though it's very formal, it's not welcoming. I wouldn't want to move into that house. You know, we live in a big house, and I love big houses, big residences. You know, a proper, a folly or a castle is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. But this place, it's not warm, it's not cozy, it doesn't look lived in whatsoever. So formal but not very welcoming. Despite the pool and sunny disposition, it's very nice. The weather's very nice. Interdimensional portals behind every door. Shed full of very dodgy, sharp tools, because all the tools get possessed and go after him. He's got George Wendt as one neighbour, big, curly, goofy, nosy bastard, and he's got like, I forget her name, but Tanya, who's the other neighbour who wants him to look after their son, to babysit, and she's gorgeous. So you've got the yin and the yang on either side of you. But you've got your mates from the past coming back to haunt you. The mate you left to die in Nam, and he's coming back. You know, Richard Moll. You open one door, and suddenly you're hanging off a precipice to a treacherous, nightmarish cliff with tempestuous waves and rocks beneath you. It's Lovecraftian. All this kind of weird. One door opens into another realm. Shut the door again. Open it again. Oh, it's back to a normal cupboard. What happened there? Open it again. A fucking beast comes out like with tentacles and big teeth. I love it, but it's not. I wouldn't want to move into it. Despite all the hellish stuff, as a house and property, I don't find it particularly inviting. Fright night. Welcome to Fright Night. Right, this is a weird one because they live on the same street. So you've got like Charlie Brewster, and you've got Chris Sarandon as the vampire moving in next door. I've covered all these films a lot, so I don't know what I'm saying. I've covered this movie. I've covered them all. But you've got this neighbourhood, this big close. Lots of houses are there. You would think they're all going to be sort of the same style, wouldn't you? Clearly not. You look at Charlie Brewster's house. It is, hang on, big. No, that's the wrong house. One house, his house, is cosy and intimate, lovingly lived in, and cluttered and cosy, but small. The rooms are small. You get the feeling that it's quite hot. He's got his homework piled up everywhere, and his mum's sitting downstairs. The kitchen is just there. Front door's right there. Again, you open the front door into the parlour. Stairs are there. Kitchen's just over there. It's small. It's deceptively small. And yet, next door, right next door, where the vampires moved in, Jerry Dandridge has moved in. You've got misty grounds, lots of grass verges and gardens with mists. Stained glass windows, multiple floors, hallways, a grand staircase and a reception area, and another enormous cellar. None of which our hero's house has, which is immediately next door. It's like, you fucking built that. There's no uniformity to that neighbourhood whatsoever. Every house must be different. Well, the vampire's house is obviously bigger and more, historically huge and elaborate. But it's massive. Multiple floors, allowing stuff to take place where you can crawl down from the roof and crawl upside down across windows and things like a spider. And very soundproof. In fact, Charlie Brewster's house as small and as cluttered and as lived in and as cozy as it is, massively soundproofed. Tons of stuff happens in there. Charlie gets thrown through wardrobes and stuff like that. Doors get smashed into their frames, windows get done in, and yet, you know, no one downstairs can hear a damn thing. It's just up there, for fuck's sake. But his house, nice and cozy. Whereas Jerry the Vampire, Chris Sarandon's house, what I just said about house is very formal. So is his, and his is more gothic. It's definitely more gloomy and dark. It's a vampire, you know. But I'd rather live in his house than the one in House, which is a real fucking house as well. And a lot of Fright Night is a set, but I'd rather live in that, you know. And the last, I think I did 12. The last one, there's many more I could have covered, but this is just in the pub before. Gremlins! Gremlins. You know, from WWYI. Big. This is obviously. This is oh, what's his name? Who's Zach Gallagher? Zach Galligan. You know, our hero. Bonnie, I forget his fucking name. But he gets the Maguire and create. Yeah. You know, don't get him wet. Don't feed him after midnight. Oops, a daisy. His house anyway. It's big. It's cluttered but homely and warm. It is. It feels welcoming. Large parlour and kitchen. Again, typically open plan, TV sitcom style. A lot of these actual homely residences have all been like that. You open the front door and there's your big comfy couch and settee. There's your telly. Your kitchen's just over there. Not down a corridor through a different room. It's all open plan. And as I said before, earlier on about TV sitcoms, American sitcoms, the camera will be positioned there, and you could just, all you've got to do is pivot like that. Front door's there, living room's there, kitchen's there, and the whole set is just there. But that's how a lot of houses genuinely are, and you get it here. So typical open plan, TV sitcom style. A tendency for Christmas tree to overpower the downstairs. That's a fucking big Christmas tree. Has to be to have gremlins hiding inside it. Squalid, cramped bedroom. Again, you've probably got Joe Dante's skewed camera work for this as well, because he would do pivot the camera sort of thing, and zoom in. So it's very sort of TV Twilight Zone, Outer Limits sort of style. Squalid, cramped bedroom, especially with a lot of young mouths to feed. I mean, you got all those other little fairy toothy babies. Well, they're fairy to begin with, and they get scaly, don't they? Reptilian. And don't do it after midnight. Yet surprisingly welcoming on the whole. Once the deckies and lights are up, because it's Christmas time, isn't it? And it does look very sort of typical, very Spielbergian. I know it's Joe Dante, but it's very Spielbergian in its style. Again, Poltergeist style, lovely suburbia, but you've got the snows coming down. And it's just lovely and quaint, and everyone, you know, you've got nasty neighbours, you know, Mrs. whatever her name is, who gets skyrocketed out on a stair lift. Ooh. But it is a welcoming place with all the snow blanketing everywhere, and the trees and the lights. It's gorgeous. It feels very, very inviting. It's all very festive. It's pretty neat. Just not exactly neat and tidy is what I finished off with, because it does look lived in, and you'll find that all the best ones here are the lived in houses. Haddonfield looks lived in. Cuesta Verde, Poltergeist, very lived in. Toys everywhere. There's just detritus, family shit is piled up all over the place, but it doesn't look horribly untidy. It just feels like, you get in there and just crash out. Yeah, let's have a beer, you know. And again, you know, Amityville Horror is not like that. It's not cozy and lived in at all. The Brody abode from Jaws and Amity, yeah, perfect. Clutter, stuff everywhere. It's not vacuumed enough. I'm sure it isn't. They don't dust it very often. Who cares? It feels homely, and you feel, you know, I can chill out here and have a laugh. We can have a great meal and a few bevies, and we can get drunk and fool around. Perfect. And we can watch a sunset. Brilliant. Last Starfighter, trailer park. Again, comfy. Whatever you want to make of it. You see, there were plots of land and you could build whatever you want. You got a trailer park there, boom. But you can add to it. You can do all your little gardens and stuff, like verandas and terraces. Perfect. Very Romanesque, in fact. 7, John Doe's apartment. No. Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill's place. No. Just no. Elm Street. No. Way too small. In fact, even though they're individual houses, they're all detached houses. But the way it looks on the inside, it looks like I think our first house in Kirkdale, which was big, but it was a 2 up, 2 down. No, it's more than that. It was like a 3 up, 2 down. But I'm in the cellar as well. But it was a terraced house, and your front door opened onto the pavement. Your front window ledge, kids from the street would sit on your window ledge because you had no land in front of it at all. I fucking hated it, but I genuinely hated it. Ceilings were like cathedral. They were like way up there. The house was dead high, but the rooms were dead small and pokey, and you couldn't really do a great deal. Little hall, little tiny kitchen, tiny fucking pathetic kitchen, and just a backyard. Now I know in America, your yard is like it's your gardens and your yard. In the yard, not too far from the car. But in this country, a yard just means a paved over, walled in back. Literally, it could be like 5 foot by 9 foot, and that's it. That's all you've got. And that's pretty much what we had in Kirkdale. Although we moved around, the gardens got progressively bigger and bigger, and this is the biggest. It's a big garden. Garden at the front, garden here. Which goes back and back and back and back. But it's so overgrown that we don't venture in there. I've lost so many groundskeepers I've lost in there. They'll come back and haunt me at some point, but who the hell cares? If they'd done their job properly in the top meadows, we'd have seen everything. The grass would have been cut down, but no. They're off having spliffs and all that, like making hooch and moonshine. But they think I can't see them. Anyway, so what else was there? Elm Street, no. The Evil Dead cabin, no. No, it's huge. It's got extra dimensions to it. It's every room's got surprises and secrets, and everything comes to life, and everything's having a laugh. Everything's having a laugh. Even the rocking chairs are laughing as well. They're all in on the joke. But no, it doesn't look very comfortable at all, does it? It's rickety. It feels cold. It feels damp, No, not going there. House, palatial, colonial, hauntings, haunted past, lost a child, Vietnam, buddy's going to come back to get you for revenge. It's too polished. You run in there, you're going to slip on that polished floor. You're going to break your spine. You put a rug down, it's going to be even worse. No, ain't doing it. Fright Night. Not Charlie Brewster's house, a mess and too small. Great soundproofing, but next door, that's where I want to be. The big gothic mansion. You've got a big gothic mansion right next door to you. Where'd that come from? You'd be jealous as fuck, wouldn't you? Gremlins. Yeah, I could live in that. It is big, cluttered, but homely and warm. And yeah, it feels like a family house. It feels there's an atmosphere to it of despite the gremlins, causing bedlam and mayhem and all that, but it actually feels I could live in that house. It'd be all right, especially Christmas time. Great at Christmas time. So I know there's a million more homes that we could cover, and you could stretch the parameters to castles and whatever. But that's another video. I come up with 12 there, and in the pub just before, and thought, well, we'll talk about that. So anyway, it's out there now. You guys can comment below, let me know what you think. Where would you like to go? Think of your movie. For this video, think of houses, actual just residential houses. These are all residential places. In the trailer park. Families live in them. They're not like Outpost 31. You know, they're not like, I don't know, a space station. They're not the Nostromo. It's not like that. These are genuine houses that people, families would live in. Be they apartments, trailers, or Gothic mansions right next door to you. Anyway, folks, the sun is still shining and I need to get back out again. So I'm going to love you and I'm going to leave you. So, in the meantime, in this ever like, who'd live in a house like this? In between time, please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all at a viewing. Houses, you get what you pay for, don't you? And obviously, if you're rich, you can get a big Hollywood mansion. But does it buy happiness, coziness? No, it doesn't. A house should look lived in. This place has been lived in by other things which haven't quite left. There'll be an update on all that. Although, as I said before, since the cats arrived, it has gone very quiet. It has. And I'm kind of like, oh, I've only been scared a couple of times in this house by things that have happened. And I've told you all about those occasions. But by and large, as irritating as it can be sometimes when phenomena does take place, it's mischievous. And it can be a pain in the ass. But I kind of like the fact that we had a spook, that we had something. I love all this. So for it to have suddenly just gone, oh, well, you got a cat now. That's it. It's over. Nope. Like the Mummy, you know, in Stephen Sommers' Mummy with Rachel Weisz and Brendan Foster. That's it. You know, cats. Oh, Egyptian mummy. A cat. He's like, whoa, big mouth. Oh, sandstorm. Gets out of there. Because cats scare him. Why? Egyptians love cats. They revere cats. Cats were like big spectral deities. Doesn't make any sense, that does it? But we got a cat in this place, and suddenly all the spookiness has just gone. Anyway.